All right. What is up, everybody? I cannot tell you how excited I am to get started to be with you guys here today. Before we jump in, I want to welcome everybody. And I know you guys are all here because of our good friends over at PBS. So I want to obviously just take a minute and thank them. And Brent, can you hear me, buddy?
I sure can.
Let me go ahead
Sam.
and turn the time over to you for just a minute. I know you wanted to say a couple things before we got started.
Well, first of all, Sam, I just want to thank you. You know, you came into our group and it's been going gangbusters. Our clients that are utilizing your services are getting unprecedented numbers. And the thing that I really love is, you know, numbers are one thing, and you're the one who really hit this home. No one else has ever really focused on it, and that's qualified patients. Meaning, yeah, I've had companies that have gotten our clients 50, even 100 leads a month, but those are still translating into the 20% or less conversions because they're not qualified. They're not quality qualified leads. And you are bringing quality qualified leads to our patients in high numbers. And more importantly, and I've said this to every single one of my clients, is that when we utilize another service, they're never as good as what your own team could be as far as handling those leads. But having said that, most of our clients don't have the staff or the trained staff to handle those leads. So they're kind of throwing them away. And so for those clients who don't have a really great staff that's trained, that knows how to handle these qualified leads, you even do that for them. So I know you're going to be going into all this. I just wanted the clients to know why they really need to listen to everything you have to say. And I'm going to turn this back over to you because I know you have a lot to tell them. But I just wanted to thank you again for taking our clients on and giving them the service they deserve. I really appreciate you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Brent. I obviously appreciate you and your whole team over there. So I'm excited. I'm excited to work with you guys, and let's jump into this today. So a couple quick things before we get started. Webinars, these types of presentations. If you guys really want to win big today, there's one thing that we can all do, and we're gonna do a little test right now, is engage. Okay. If you engage, if you participate, if you ask questions, you are going to get way more out of this than any other presentation you've ever gotten. I might be missing things that you want to have covered. You should not feel any level of trepidation to stop me and go ahead and ask a question. I have here with me today, I have Heather Kelly. She works with me. She can man the chat. So if you have something, let me know. So let's test this thing out, make sure everybody, and if you're traveling or whatever, I understand, but if you could grab that chat bubble and just send me a quick hello, something like that. Let me know you're there. Let me know that you're ready to start engaging. So you guys, again, I have been on a lot of these. I know that sometimes they can get boring. Hopefully this will be enlightening, but grab that chat. Let us go. Let me know that you're here, and let's get moving. Again, Heather is there to grab your guys' questions. So before we jump into the presentation, I wanted to just do a quick little introduction. My name is Sam Carlson. A little bit about me. I've been a entrepreneur for 20 years. I've never really had a job. I've always worked for myself. Okay. In the capacity of helping you get new patients, I've done that for about 6 years now, maybe a little bit more than that. But I've been really focused. I actually started inside your clinics, learning the business. And the guy I was working with would always tell me, if we could just help our docs get more new patients, that would be amazing. Okay. So I started in the journey several years ago. I really started, earning my stripes, back then when things were a lot easier, and today they become much more challenging. In that time, I started one of the most popular podcasts on Facebook ads called the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Okay. That is, if you search the best Facebook ads podcast, that is at the top. That's on the front page of Google. It's downloaded hundreds of thousands of times. I have since stopped doing that podcast to focus on what you're going to be seeing here today. I wrote this book, which we'll talk more about this a little bit later, but New Patient School, the how-to guide for converting more leads into patients. Again, we're going to cover some of this today. And then something that we are, and this is about us. I understand. I want to get to you guys, but we are the only agency to ever have a published case study by Facebook. The image you're seeing now is actually on Facebook Business, and there is no other agency who does chiropractic or integrated or any kind of chronic pain marketing that has a published case study. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. And I'm noticing on my next slide, there's something out of whack. So that's okay. We can pivot and adapt as we go. All good. All right. What is your single biggest marketing problem today? I want you to think about that. I want you to think, what is it? Is it lead quality? That red line was supposed to go through with a, no, it's not lead quality. Okay. Is it in your enrollment rate or is your show rate? Okay. Are these your biggest problems? Nope. When it comes down to what the biggest things that are inhibiting you from getting the results you want, the biggest failure in marketing really boils down to two things. All right. It's a habit of telling people what they should want. Okay. And it's not knowing how to ask the right questions. Okay. These things may seem vague now. They will become very clear as we go through this presentation today. Okay. Through this training. So I want to start by making just a big promise to you guys. I know that the new patients, I know that they're the lifeblood of any practice, including yours. And I know that you're not here to be sold. Okay. So I'm actually going to go through, I'm going to show you the niches, the specific conditions, the ads, the offers, and everything that we're using right now to get 15 to 20, and sometimes more, just depending on location and budget, pre-qualified patients for your practice. Yes, I'm actually going to show you what conditions you should focus on right now in 2021 to grow your practice, what changes you're going to need to make, and you can make them quickly. By the way, we don't need to sit around and deliberate what changes need to be made. I'm going to show you unequivocally what you need to do. And then how you can save thousands of marketing, thousands of marketing dollars starting today, and even with better ROI. All right. Now, before we get too far, all right, one of the things that Brent said on his introduction is your team can do a better job of following up and really caring about the results that you get. And I 100% believe in that. Okay. So what I'm about to show you, it's powerful, but it only works if you do. There is no get rich quick scheme. Okay. We're not doing any of that. If that was the case, then we'd all be billionaires. Okay. This is a two-party system. We have to dance with the partner in the right way to get the result we want. Now, I know what you guys want to understand. I know you want to see how we can predictably add 10, 15, 20 or more niche patients every single month. But to retrace or to understand what we're really doing here, I have to retrace a pretty critical event. And it really, when I say critical for me, yeah, that's true. But what you're going to find out is this is actually more critical for you. So do you remember this case study? Spend a little bit of time on it. You remember this case study where the only, agency that has one. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I don't sit there and Google it all the time, but I'm pretty sure we're the only agency to have one, right? This was a really big deal for us, and for a couple of reasons, two primarily. Okay, one, again, we're the only agency to have one. That is a feather in your cap. It's something that you can show people that really proves, hey, we really take our marketing very seriously. We're not just copy and pasting other people's stuff. We're learning how marketing is really done, and we're demonstrating that. And Facebook saw the same thing. In fact, they reached out to us to conduct this study, and all of that data that you're seeing is what's called attribution data, which means we didn't give them any of that information. They put it on there. We were actually kind of surprised by some of the information they were able to provide us. They've got some crazy tracking stuff. Okay. So that was one. That's a pretty obvious one. Number two, without it, when I say weed, my partner Jacob and I, we would never have met Bradley. And you're probably thinking, well, who's Bradley? Listen, before we get into that, I need to share with you what it's really like and what it was like for us to run a marketing company prior to meeting Bradley. Okay. Now, you don't care about this until you do. So here's what I mean. Here's what a typical day for a normal agency owner is like. You wake up to all sorts of comments, like, emails that say things like, hey, my ads are not working anymore. They're working. I'm getting leads, but people aren't showing up. I know you guys have probably seen this. If you've heard any of these, by the way, this would be an opportune time to grab the chat, participate, and say, yep, I've had that happen. Yep, I've seen this too. Okay. Or maybe the lead quality sucks. Okay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are the type of things that are common and they do happen. And with over 30 clients, which when we ran an agency, that was about the max that we could do. Okay. And my personal reputation at stake every day, this was exhausting, which, by the way, I'm 41 years old. Okay. That's not old, but it's old enough to actually understand what personal reputation and handshake mean. And so I really, really dwelled a lot on that every single day in my business. All right. And here's what no agency really wants to tell you. This is what they won't freely admit when it comes to online marketing. So on Facebook, Google, whatever it is, success in one location does not guarantee you. You're not owed success in another. That's not how it works. All right. Ad costs in some places are unavoidably higher. Some offers don't convert the same as they do from one place to another, which means some campaigns never get off the ground. And some, when they do get off the ground, they can stop working like that. Okay. And that's no fun, which makes it so we're all kind of feeling like this. It's a consistent game of whack-a-mole. And here's you, frustrated client, thinking, man, what is going on? And then here's me. Okay. Makes sense? You guys, this is the game as it used to be played. I'm going to show you what has changed and why you should care. Now, enter Bradley. That's Bradley. Okay. Got a great looking family. This is my partner today, Bradley. It's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but let's jump into it. What is the importance of Bradley? You see, when that case study got published on Facebook Business, Bradley found that case study. Now, it was great. The case study was great for us, like I said, to get clients. They could see we were credible. That was good. But Bradley was looking at that case study through a completely different lens. And that was, I need somebody who understands the artistic or the artistic side of local Facebook ads. Because what Bradley was doing was bringing to the equation some science. Everything, if you're going to have results in anything, it's usually two-sided, the art and the science of doing something. So he reached out to us and said, hey, I'm building a software and I'd love to get some consulting on it. I run a full team of developers and we're building some awesome tools for agencies like yours. And since you guys clearly have an expertise here, would you be willing to provide some consulting? Okay. It's not, I mean, for an agency, that's not necessarily a normal request. And coming from a person who's developing, I mean, I've always been interested in software and so has Jacob. So we were intrigued. That's Jacob and I, we're being intrigued if you can't tell. Okay. And when we saw what Bradley and his team were building, we were absolutely floored. And when I said that moment earlier, that this was a critical moment for us and for you, let me kind of unpack that a little bit. Okay. He was building a tool that would launch new ads in seconds. It could test results across multiple locations and give objective proof on results. Okay. And I'll talk about that here in just a second, but it basically cut the time of managing a campaign from minutes to hours down to seconds. Okay. So that's me feeling intrigued by what I saw. And that's Jacob feeling relieved, because Jacob, instead of, out promoting what we're doing, he's executing and doing all of these things. I have to give you just a visual representation of how this actually felt. Okay. I'm not kidding. I felt just like Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2. Okay. If you haven't seen this, you had a spoiled childhood, but let me just recap real quick. So Marty goes back to the future. Okay. He goes and he gets the sports almanac from 1950 to 2000. He gets that and he's able to go back now and place these bets. And he's almost guaranteed, well, not almost, he's guaranteed, to win all these bets. Okay. And when I saw this software for the first time, it was kind of like the new patient marketing almanac. Okay. Because with it, I'd be able to know which ad and offers would work, not in just one place, but in a lot of places. I'd have a really good idea of what lead costs, these are things that people don't know, of what lead costs should be. And if done right, I'd even know how much a new patient would cost. Okay. And I do all of this in just seconds, not hours. Talk about an absolute game changer. All right. I know what you're thinking. Nice story, Sam, but what is the point? Let's bring this thing right back to where we're at today and why we're here. If you want a flow of qualified leads that turn into patients, instead of trying to figure out how to motivate people to buy your services, learn how to get the attention of people who are already motivated. Okay. That may seem vague right now. As we go through these next steps, it'll become a lot more clear. Okay. Which brings us again to today's training and what we're all here for. So what's working right now in 2021, how to find, qualify, and close high ticket services. You see how we did full circle there? It's pretty cool, right? All right. In interest of time, I'm going to spend the majority, because I really want you guys to not just have a superficial introduction to what's working. I want you to have a thorough introduction into what's working. And so we're going to focus our time and efforts on the top 3 performing conditions. All right. Now, we do have a lot more than 3 conditions, but these conditions we're about to review have proven to be consistent in almost every market. The data that you're going to see is objective. Okay. Which means, while I would never make blatant promises or guarantees about a result, you can feel confident in forecasting your results based on what you're going to see. Okay. And what you're going to see are sample ads for each of the conditions, average cost per lead, and then average cost to acquire those patients. And I know you're probably feeling like this. So before we jump into this, hopefully I haven't bored you to death. Grab the chat button. Let me know. Are you ready to jump in to the actual campaigns, the ones that are really working right now, and how, by the way, how we're targeting those campaigns? Because that's the other piece. Some of these campaigns or some of these niches you will have heard of, but you necessarily won't know how we're finding the people in those audiences. All right. Very good. Okay, great. Let's go. Number 3, sciatica. All right. Now, I don't want this to be a thing where we go, oh, what is going on? I thought it was going to be some kind of, these things that we'd never heard of. Here's the reality. When you are wanting to grow your practice, there's a couple of conditions that are so broad reaching, that are so far reaching, that they can affect people at huge masses. When it comes to decompression, okay, and what you're about to see will prove this. When it comes to decompression, sciatica, not bulging disc, not herniated disc, not low back pain, sciatica is the top condition as reflected in these metrics here. Okay. So this is a printout. By the way, this is when I talk about that sports almanac thing, the type of data that nobody has. This data here, nobody has. Okay. This software that Bradley and his team that they built does not exist anywhere else except for in Patient Stream. Okay. It costs $1 million to develop, and it's worth every penny when you again see what it can do to forecast and give you the foundation you need to have success. So this is a 7-day rolling average here, or not rolling average, but 7-day snapshot, 146 leads, cost per lead of $16 per lead. Now, I don't always think, and you'll see this in a couple other ones, that cost per lead is always the indicator of whether or not you have a winning campaign, right? But in this case, this number for sciatica and the projected revenue are extremely consistent and have been for over a year. Okay. So we feel very confident about these figures when going in, about this campaign, as well as these figures when we go into any market. Okay. It's interesting. We had a client named Curtis Fisher. And when he started with Patient Stream about 3 or 4 months ago, he owns a practice that's chiropractic, and he does some decompression. He does a couple of other things, a couple of other niches, and he really wanted to focus on his chiropractic stuff. And so he started out with some general ads that we do have. It's not how we focus, and you'll learn more about this, but it's not how we focus Patient Stream. So we ran a chiropractic offer, then another, and really he didn't get much. And he reached out to me, he said, so what's going on? What am I doing wrong? And I said, well, you went against all the advice that we gave. There's nothing wrong with chiropractic services, but they are not the tip of the spear when it comes to your online marketing. Okay. He then ran the sciatica decompression campaign, and boom, the thing took off. Okay. He was getting great lead costs, people motivated, by the way, to come in based on what they were seeing from the advertisements. And he sent me this message. You can see that's from 7 days ago, just barely. He said, hey, can there be a decompression ad under neck pain? The low back pain, sciatica, when we have, is working phenomenally. Would like to pump up the neck treatment. By the way, Curtis, I'm working on the neck stuff. We have a method of how we do this, but save it to say Curtis is extremely happy with what he's doing right now in the sciatica arena. All right. Next one, neuropathy. All right. So thermography, neuropathy is our number 2. In fact, it used to be our number 1. Number 2 and number 1 tend to flip-flop from time to time, but neuropathy is a really big one for us. Okay. Again, this is an audience that from pretty much anywhere you go, with the exception of a couple locations, is going to be there. They're not going anywhere. Neuropathy is not out there healing itself. Diabetes is not out there healing itself. But these are some of the winning ad angles and offers that we're using with consistency to bring in leads for neuropathy. Okay. So again, here's the metrics: 7-day lead volume, 220 leads, cost per lead, $27. Notice how that cost per lead is actually higher, but I'm completely fine with that cost. Projected revenue, $220,000. And I'm completely fine with it for a lot of reasons. One, we try and qualify those leads more so than maybe the back pain ones. But at the end of the day, the conversion rate is extremely good. And so that cost per lead really becomes irrelevant. All right. The 2 top ones we have are thermography, which we can, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you have questions about the thermography, I can answer questions about that. But it's a great offer. And then the recommended neuropathy $49 new patient special, that one was great. I want to take 1 minute here. So these niches are really important. And what I've shared with you so far is, maybe you've heard some of it, but maybe you haven't. And I want to share a quick story about Ray Peavy. So, and by the way, I'd love you guys to hear his full story. I'm going to have Heather post the link to his case study in the chat. But I want to give a little bit of background about Ray Peavy. So in 2020, it was a tough year for a lot of people. Okay. And Ray Peavy was no different. He lives in California. His practice is in California. And that area where he lived at took a huge hit. He went from seeing, I think he said 160 visits. It could be 180, but 160 visits a week in his practice, down to 80 when the pandemic was in full stride in his neck of the woods in California. And he reached out to her. I mean, you can imagine what it was like to be him. Guy's been in practice for a long time, did not know what to do, was really nervous about what would happen to his business that he'd spent 20, 30 years building. So he reached out to a friend, and this friend said, hey, have you heard of Patient Stream? You might want to see what they're doing because I think they can help you. So out of the blue, this guy, Ray Peavy, reaches out to me and says, hey, can you hop on a demo? I need some help. And he told me about his practice. He told me what he wanted to do. And I said, Ray, use the neuropathy offer, because that's what his niche was in California. I said, use the neuropathy offer and you're going to get some patients. Now, I can't promise any results, things like that. So I didn't know what type of results to expect, but his results were amazing. He went from 80 visits a week up to over 210 visits a week, added $50,000 in cash within 2.5 months, saved his practice, took it beyond where it was before pre-pandemic. And now today is still, this was 6 months ago, I'm guessing, something like that. Now today is still doing neuropathy as well as other chiropractic services in his clinic and crushing it. I would love for you to hear his full story because he is an amazing guy. He took some initiatives that really made the difference, and his interview was really awesome. All right. And the number one is knee pain. Now, there's been a lot coming out about different things that, you know, if you're in the stem cell arena, regenerative medicine, clearly you know what's going on with the FDA. I'm not here to comment on that, but I'm here to comment on, I know how to get knee pain patients in your door, regardless of whatever protocol you treat them with on the back end. Okay. These offers and what we're doing here to get folks in, our top performing one is based on knee decompression. Okay. These campaigns crush it. 284 leads. Okay. A $17 cost per lead, projected revenue about $355,000 over the last 7 days. Okay. These campaigns crush it. I've blurred out, you know, I've got on the left side, I've blurred out who they are because can't show that, but $17 per lead, and people crush it with our knee stuff. Okay. In fact, this is Dr. Suhail Samji, and he's got another case study on my YouTube channel. But I got to tell you, whenever I do a case study, I don't do it about us. I don't interview our users, our clients, to position us as, hey, we're the best thing since sliced bread. That's not why I do it. I do it so people like you who are here, who want to know what are the nuanced moves, the things, the tactics that people who are having success, what are they doing to drive that type of result? And I did an amazing case study with Suhail Samji. He is out of Canada, great doc, and he focuses a lot on niche conditions, obviously, but he's focusing mostly on knee. And it was funny. I did this. You can watch the whole thing, but I did this video, and here's what he said.
It's funny. I don't even know how this patient stream works. Like, they know how to find the right person that's suffering and bring those patients in, which is amazing.
Well said, Dr. Samji. And the reality is again, as we go through this, you're going to see we're not trying to persuade anybody into our services. We're trying to find people who are already motivated and just steer them in the right direction. Okay. And I know we've spent time on just these top 3 niches, but we've got over 20 niches, 125 different offers in conditions like all of these that you're seeing on the screen right now. Okay. And the power of having that new patient almanac is that we can go into these, we can source new offers, we can put them out in front of people, and we can make them available to you instead of going through and getting cute with an agency and being, well, we really need more neuropathy. Well, what if the neuropathy market is overflowing with people in your area? Should you jump in? Should you throw your hat in? That's probably not the best use of your money. You probably want to go in with the best offers and the right niches in your market. Okay. So here's kind of the bottom line. Okay. We have done the hard part. We've created, proven, and perfected campaigns for you to use, for us to use in your clinics. Okay. And I'm sure you're probably feeling like this.
Serious? I'm dead serious.
Right. You know, the reality is when we jump up to the plate and we're doing what we're doing, we don't want to guess. Okay. We want to know so we can be very certain when we get in front of you. Hey, these are the campaigns that we recommend for your area. Is that going to work for you? And if it does, great. If it doesn't, that's a fit. That's fine too. Okay. So I know you guys have had a little taste of what we do here, and I know you think it's pretty damn exciting, huh? But I want to bring this thing full circle for just a minute. All right. Because there's been a lot of stories. I've made some points, but I want to summarize what we're really talking about here. Okay. I'm guessing if you're on the webinar today, you want to find out how to get more niche patients in the practice. Okay. And to do that, we can't do these two things. So we can't tell people what they want. What am I really saying? Instead of basing our decisions and our marketing dollars on what we want, we need to know exactly what conditions and offers are in highest demand and then provide them the solution. Okay. When I say are in highest demand, I had an example of 2 weeks ago or a month ago where we went in, did some chiropractic marketing and nobody wanted it. And guess what? It's not because nobody wanted, excuse me. It's not because nobody wanted chiropractic services. It was that because within a square mile of this location, there was a dozen chiropractors offering the exact same thing. Okay. Supply and demand there. So know exactly what conditions and offers are in highest demand and provide the solutions. And then not asking the right questions. Ask questions that identify qualified prospects. Okay. People, again, who are motivated for real change. Okay. You can't persuade somebody. You can't jump in front of them and say, hey, I have this thing and it's going to be a fit for you until you know what motivates them. Okay. So I want to take a quick break. All right. Has this been valuable so far, you guys? Grab that chat below. Let me make sure I've got the chat up. Just let me jump in here real quick, make sure we've got all of this going. I've got the chat up now. All right. Has this been valuable, you guys? Grab on here. There's a chat. Yes. Yep. Thanks, everyone. Yep. Good afternoon. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Great. That's all I'm here for. I want to make sure that this is something that it's a win for you guys. I don't want to just sit up here and talk at you. I want to make sure that you guys are getting something out of this. So some of you, I'm sure, are feeling like this. Hopefully that there's enough new information here that you really feel like, hey, I am drinking through a garden hose, but sometimes that's a good thing. But I do want to stop for just a minute and I'll take questions now. You can type them in. Anything from before, Heather, was there any questions that?
Nope, you're good. You didn't miss anything.
Okay. CPA is the cost per lead to look at. Okay, great. Any questions in here? And then Brent, I don't know if, let's see here. I think we may have lost Dr. Brent, but that's fine. I know he's actually, I kind of bugged him. He's on vacation now with his family. I think I jumped in and got in the way a little bit. Any questions? Amin, Ashley, Diana, Elias, Gary, anything you guys want to know about Fareed? Anything we can help with? And if not, that's okay too. But I want to make sure that we just take a minute because this is kind of a moment where we pivot from here, from where we're at right now into the next steps. But anything from you guys? If you don't, just go ahead and write in the chat. Nope, we're good to go. How do we get started? Nope, good to go. Okay, so that means that we've covered these enough to where we're not creating much confusion. So that's really good feedback. Thanks, guys. So here is what we need to do next. So let me ask you a question. Okay, again, would you be interested in working with Patient Stream? I mean, I don't want to jump straight into a sales pitch. Hopefully, so far, again, we've been delivering value. We've been helping you understand. It sounds like Dr. Gary wants to know. So here's how we work with people when we manage their accounts. We find that people fall into one of two buckets. Okay. It's really funny because whenever I think of the DIY, I think of my dad, the DIY guy who really wants to do everything himself and save the money, or the done for you person who is more like my best friend and just wants to pay to have it done. Now, the reality is when I look at DIY and DFY, when you're in the capacity of a business, the DIY is really actually the person, the clinic that feels like they are dialed in when it comes to all things marketing and follow-up and all that kind of stuff. And then the DFY is like, they're running a good clinic, but they want some help. So let me go ahead and jump into what the DIY looks like. Okay. DIY, do it yourself. So when you sign up for Patient Stream, okay, again, we've got two ways. It's $497 per month. Okay, plus ad spend. You've got to spend your ad spend on top of that. With that, you'll be able to launch Facebook campaigns in just seconds, like you've seen us kind of walking through here. You'll have all the email and texting lead follow-up automation. The texting and email follow-up platform is the same texting and follow-up platform that pretty much everybody's using now. It's a great platform. There's no need for us to reinvent the wheel when it comes to that part of what we're doing. 9 to 5 customer support via chat and email, 21 different niches and over 120 different lead generation campaigns. So that is the done, I'm sorry, do it yourself side of the equation here. Now, I would say probably most people would be interested in the done for you, and especially when I walk you through what we're doing. And I think Dr. Brent kind of alluded to this a little bit. Okay, so the done for you is in essence minus the ad spend, all inclusive. Okay, so it's $19.97 a month. And for that, you're going to get unlimited done for you new patient campaigns. Okay, so if you want to run a neuropathy and a knee campaign at the same time, you can do that. If you want to run 3, 4, 5 campaigns. Now, whether that's prudent is besides the point, but you can do that with Patient Stream. Live person pre-qualifying services up to 100 leads. We'll talk about what that means here in just a second, because I want to take a minute to focus on the live person pre-qualifying services, as well as the appointment setting, appointment confirming. Again, with this, you're going to get the same automation and platform for email and texting, 9 to 5 support via chat, email, and phone, 21 different niches, over 120 different lead gen campaigns. All right. So your next step would simply, and I'll tell you how to do this in just a second, okay? But simply set up a demo. We'll choose what of these two options is the best one for you, and we'll go from there. Now, I told you I was going to spend a little bit of time just deconstructing these pre-qualifying services. All right. I've been training on sales and scripts for years. Okay. In fact, my book, the book I wrote, has the best script for new patient marketing that there is, in my opinion. It's proven to work. It works amazing. It's the same script that this call center uses, our pre-qualifying agents use. We actually give it to you too, so you have it. I don't care. That's fine. I put it in a book. Obviously, I don't care. And then again, we partnered up with a call center, and I was approached by several call centers, by the way. We have over 100 users in Patient Stream, 100 clients. And I was approached by several call centers to work with our clients. But I did not want to work with most of them because they didn't really, I could tell from the get-go, they would not be a fit. And here's how I really dialed in what needed to happen in order for us to be able to work with a call center like this. Okay. One, I needed US-based reps. Okay. This is really important. I think at the end of the day, while people in other countries and the globalization of services and things like that are great, when it comes to following up with leads, US-based reps are kind of a must, in my opinion. They need to have verifiable experience. I couldn't have somebody just walking off the street, starting a call center and say, hey, send me your people. That wouldn't work. And then they needed to let me, which I know this sounds kind of strange, it's not my company, let me train your staff. I absolutely would not work with a company that would not let me get in, train their staff, and show them what I've learned in the process of this scripting and the follow-up process. I know too much about the new patient journey to not get in and train the staff. And all of these things, the call center that fulfills these services for our clients, this is included in that $19.97, so you're not paying extra for that. They fulfill all of these minimums. Okay. All right. Okay. So after your demo, here is how it works. So again, you would first, item number one, I'll show you how to do this. Item number one is you set up a demo. Okay. We're going to figure out which one of those two options is best for you. Assuming it's a fit for you. Okay. You do pay a one-time onboarding fee of $9.97. After that, it is month to month. It's month to month because people stick with us when it works. Okay. We don't need to do anything fancy other than that. Okay. But because you're with PBS, because you're with, my good friend Brent, we've got something pretty special for you guys today. So let's get started with that. The first 2 people are actually going to get something very special from me, and I'm keeping it vague for a purpose. This is something I'm not going to share with anybody else. The first 2 people who sign up at the following link are going to get something very special from me. The first 10 are going to get $500 off their onboarding fee. So you'll save $500. Okay. And you can get started by going to mypatientstream.com/demo. Heather's got the link right there in the chat. You are free to go there now. Just open up another tab. Don't leave the webinar just yet. You can go there, whenever after this, if you're watching the replay. But go there now if you want to get started or set up your demo. That would be the next step. So once again, I know that you probably at this point, there's been a couple of questions coming in. So let me go ahead and go back to those. Is that plus ad spend? Yes. So all of these, this is the service fees. So for you to get full access to the software, as well as whatever package you choose, you get that. But ad spend is on top of that. And usually the chaser question for that is, how much should we be spending on our budget? If you go back to the data that I was showing you on those on those, the knee decompression and all that, if you go back to those data, it will show you that our average lead cost is right, plus or minus a couple of bucks, right around $20. So generally speaking, when I tell people what to expect on their budget, a starting budget for me is almost always $40 a day. Okay. And again, we've got data to support it. So we feel very confident that you put in $40 a day and you'll be able to see, whatever your lead cost is. So if it's $20, then that's 2 leads a day. That would be roughly, 60 leads per month. Okay. And every time you add on a new campaign, so let's say you're doing knee campaign and neuropathy, they're going to need their own budget. Many of you know this, but if you're new to marketing on Facebook and Instagram, then your daily, you need enough gas in the engine of each car. Okay. So each campaign is its own vehicle. All right. Let's see here. I'm not sure I understand your question. How many patient stream clients do we have? How many patient stream clients do we have?
That was for sorry, Sam, that was for the comment before. So how many clients do you have you work with now from Elias?
Over 100. Yep. A lot of clients. Let's see here. I believe I said that a little bit earlier, but yeah, over 100 folks. So let's see here. Suhil Samji. Yep. There's all the information there. Any other questions? Anything else? I got one more thing before we end. A special gift for you guys, but I don't want to jump over to that until I get questions figured out. Make sure we're not jumping too far ahead. All right. So last thing. Okay. I have a special gift for you. I did take the time to, this book was not something I ever intended to do. I didn't want to write a book. If you know me writing a book is very surprising to you. I do write a lot, but I don't necessarily write in a way where it's, hey, Sam wrote a book. So I wrote this book. And the reason that I wrote this book was after about 5-6 years of doing this, I found so many gaps and problems that people were wandering around aimlessly trying to find the answers. And I had all these answers. I knew how to fix all the problems. If your leads aren't showing, I know how to fix it. If you are not enrolling enough patients, I know how to fix that. I know what targets you should be hitting. So you're going to get the exact targets and protocols, scripts, sales training, psychological triggers, as well as my 43-65 formula. Okay. Which is basically of your leads, 43% should get in the door. Of the people that get in the door, 65% should enroll into care. And if you can do that, you can blow your practice up. Okay. Again, I've spent a lot of time on this, and I want you guys to have a free, this book now for free. So what we're going to do is, if you would like a copy of this book, grab the chat right now, put in your email address, and Heather will send you a PDF of this book right away. Okay. Any other questions before we end? I appreciate you guys coming here today. I know we've still got several people on. So, and by the way, if you're watching this on replay and you want to get the book, okay, you can email Heather and she'll send you a book. It's heather@mypatientstream.com and she'll send you a book. Okay. We've got a couple of folks. Okay. Yeah, Gary, we'll get you one. Ashley, we'll get you one. Elias, we'll get you one. We'll get all you guys one. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I've had a great time here. Hopefully you guys have had a great time as well. If you have any questions, I can stick around for just a minute. Thanks for coming. Yes, 2 niches, same fee. 3 niches, same fee. 4 niches, same fee. Okay, the only time your fee goes up is if you have more than 1 location. Okay, but if you now, whether or not it's prudent to do more than 2 niches at the same time, that's more the question, not whether or not we would do that. So yes, Dr. Gary, same fee. Again, I'll stick around for a couple minutes for anybody who has questions. You're welcome, Ashley. Thanks for coming. Awesome, Gary. Thanks for coming, buddy. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, Elias. Appreciate it. All right, guys, it looks like there's a lot of folks signing up for demos. So I think we'll save some of the questions for your demos. Thanks for coming, and we will see you on the next one.